Welcome to an all new episode of Big Ooh, Top 20 Countdown. This week we're counting down the top 20 pop songs, and we're talking to our guest, Gino, the comedian. And
Hey,
I'm
hey.
not even I'm not even gonna try to mess up his last name. But you guys, let's get into the number 20 song. Number 20 song comes from Marshmello and Kane Brown. This song is called Miles on It. Let's get into it. Miles on It by Marshmello and Kane Brown on Big Old Top 20 Countdown. Yeah, you guys, that was the number 19 song. Future, Metro Booming, and Kendrick Lamar would like that. And we're talking to our guest, Gino. Gino, how you doing, man?
What up? How you doing?
Tell my listeners about yourself.
Um, just do stand-up comedy. I've written a few books that nobody cares about. And I mean, yeah, just in these streets trying to make it happen. Yeah.
How did you get into stand-up comedy?
I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy. It's a funny question because some people like talk about a thing that brought them in. I've always known that I wanted to do it, but I lived in Orange County, so there was just kind of no scene.
Mm, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
And wow. So then you just when you were very young, or what were you like?
Like it's always been important, like in my friend group, to be funny, to be entertaining. And my mom like used to roast us all the time, like just even being a little kid. So you had to be like quick in front of mom or she'd get you.
Yeah,
And so you just
yeah.
find you just like develop just this smart ass take on life that isn't great for HR, but is good for the stage.
You said HR.
Yeah, yeah.
You try to do HR.
I've had because people have known where my spirit's in the right place, but I've been suspended a couple times from jobs for just like coming up with stupid, funny ideas. And they're like,
Wow.
look, it's already in the works. You're fine, but you also can't come to work for a week. So
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah.
You're not good for corporate America. Oh wow. How would you describe your humor?
Um, I don't know. Just I guess I'm more of a storyteller.
Hmm.
There's not one thing that I dedicate myself to like on purpose. I just love telling stories, and I feel like that's why I write too. Uh,
Hmm.
because for me, that's like what you would call like the gospel or the Bible is just like people's candid stories. I think we
Yeah,
all we all feel like things that are totally relatable experiences aren't because
yeah,
because we only share what we know is perceived as positive.
yeah,
And I guess more recently on stage, I'm trying to share story because you're supposed to be relatable, but you're also supposed to be likable. And
yes.
I guess I really like have this propensity to tell stories that don't paint me as likable.
Hmm. Hmm. Why is that?
Because I think everybody has moments in their life that where they were the opposite of likable.
Yeah,
But it also like it's while it's not right, it is part of the human experience, and it's something that you need to let people get past if they choose to.
yeah,
Like you
yeah,
can tell when someone's just a piece of shit and they can't help it, like a
yeah.
psychotic mentality. But there's also
Hmm.
just like being a person and making a shitty decision or, you know, uh, giving like con your lower self control for like a little bit at a time or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
So you see how
true.
it gets dark. Right away it got dark. You're like, oh, that's dark.
No, that's not
Oh, that's some
dark.
dark shit, bro.
I'm listening to you. I'm just listening to you. Don't
Yeah,
take
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm trying to listen to you and also trying to come up with other questions too, because we're
No, I
doing
got you. I got
freestyle.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I,
But
I
we're gonna
felt I
talk.
felt like I brought it down heavy. I
No,
feel
you
I feel
didn't.
like
You
in
didn't.
conversation I have a bad habit of like getting too deep too fast.
No, no, no. You're deep enough. You're deep enough. We
Yeah.
got time. You got time.
Uh,
Come on, man. It's all good. It's all good. No worries about it. But we're gonna talk to you more because I got a question for you. Um, let's get into number 18 song. Number 18 song comes from Zach Bryan. This song is called 28. Let's get into it. 28 by Zach Bryan on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown, number 18. Yeah, you guys, that was the number 17 song, Eminem with Houdini. I like that song. And we're talking to our guest, Gino.
yeah.
Say your last name for me because I do not want to mess it up.
Riccardi. And it's honestly like when I put myself down on a list, it's always only my first name because people will always fuck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a witness to that because people always mess up my first name. So I'm like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. Always mess it up, man. Oldie she.
Oh, did she? Yeah,
Oldie
are your
she.
parents African or what?
Yeah, my father was a Nigerian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an African name for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And be like, but I'm thinking about I'm changing my name to Bob Smith. Except for to my creditors. My
You're not
creditors,
even
they
trying to
can
be relatable. You're just trying to be pronounceable.
you know, so except for to my creditors, you can call me and be like, I don't know that person.
They tried. You got three chances to pronounce the name. Otherwise, you got the wrong number.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm only gonna give him one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, nope,
Especially if I don't
wrong.
want to pay
I
the,
don't even know anybody
especially
by
if I
that
don't,
name.
for real, especially if I don't want to pay the bill.
Yeah, yeah.
That's real. But the question is, one question I have for you is, describe your first comedy gig for me.
My first comedy gig. I think I started. I didn't look for shows until I was like a couple of years in because I didn't want to just shit the bed on stage. So I started auditioning. So I went to Flappers, and I guess my first show was in downtown LA. And
Okay.
it was kind of a really nice stage and everything. But the guy didn't tell me I was going to be going up first. The bullet is
Mm,
a big deal. Like you're sort of setting the stage for everybody else. You're supposed to leave it warm and everything. And
yeah.
I'm trying to chase the guy around, and I'm like, oh, I feel bad. He's trying to run the show, and I'm just like, when am I going up? And it's your first show, so you really don't know that. You're really supposed to fucking know that. They're
Yeah.
like, that's the one. That's the first question. Do you have a set list? Do you have an order? All that stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, well, he's on stage now, so it's too late to ask him. He's like, coming up first is Gino, and I'm like, you piece of shit. All right, so all right, I did all right because you're feeling it. You're just like, all right, well, I guess I'm on stage now.
Yeah.
But my first show at Flappers was good. That was a fun ass show. I
Wow.
performed at Pack's house, and it was nice. Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
I guess not that life feels like so long ago. It feels like
Hmm.
over a decade ago, but I guess it was like 4, maybe 5 years ago.
Wow. So you haven't been doing comedy that much, that long.
Not a full decade yet. No.
Oh, that's cool. That's really,
Yeah.
really cool. You're kind of new to it, kind of. Wow.
I mean, I guess you could say that. I mean, I feel like I'm at the point where when people ask me, I won't answer the question anymore because the
Wow.
question is more like, are you working?
Hmm.
Yeah.
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 Describe one of the best comedy gigs that you ever had.
Best comedy. I did Don't Tell in Las Vegas. That was a lot of fun. And the crowd is just there because as we do shows, but it's still like a lot of it still feels like miking. You're doing like a bar show. You're trying to make people laugh at themselves, but you don't know if like someone might be stroking a knife under the table or something like that. You really don't know what you're dealing with. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
this that like I don't like people who wear Dodgers hats just to let you know they're carrying a knife. And this dude with the Dodgers hat, he's like, "Oh, I got mine." I'm like,
Oh, wow.
and then the dude next to him was like, "I forgot my hat." I'm like, all right.
That's a mess. That's a big mess.
Yeah, because at a comedy show, like at the Comedy Store, people get patted down, and I've heard someone ask, like, "Who the hell carries a knife to a comedy show?" I'm like, "Well, apparently a lot of people are carrying
Yeah.
that to a comedy show." Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So like
Wow.
bar shows, and then you go to Vegas, and there's a crowd of like a couple hundred people, and they're there just for comedy, and even the stuff that doesn't usually get laughs, they're like on board for. So any of your material that's actually good is you're like, this is just how it should feel all the time.
Yeah.
That was a really good show. Yeah. Shout out
I
to Riano. He's the one who gave me the opportunity.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. We're going to talk more to you because I want to know about your books. But we got to get back in this countdown. The number 16 song comes from Zach Bryan. The song is called Pink Skies. Let's get into it. Zach Bryan, Pink Skies, number 16 on Big Woo Stop 20 Countdown. I stole that from Soul Train. He's looking at me like, what the hell was Soul Train? But it was all right. But you guys, that was the number 15 song. That was by Morgan Wallen featuring Ernest. The song was called Cowgirls. But you guys, it's time to get into the first extra song of the week. First extra song of the week comes from my brother, my friend. Wow. He has a new song called D&D. This song is featuring Teddy Andreas. Let's get into it. Boy Ryan, D&D, featuring Teddy Andreas, the extra song of the week on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown. Yeah, you guys, that was my boy Ryan. We're talking to my boy Gino.
Yeah.
Gino, you said you wrote a couple of books. Tell me
Yeah.
about them.
The first book I ever wrote was called Come Out and Play. And that's like, I feel like anyone who's a writer, like the first thing they do is going to be like a memoir. That was kind of like, I picked a year of my life that had an arc to it. So, like the whole loss of innocence thing, right? At the beginning, you're a virgin. At the end of it, you're a drug dealer. Well, maybe not you, but
Wow,
yeah.
that's
And then
crazy.
more recently, I've written like, I really like the idea of fables or fairy tales or tall tales. Uh,
Hmm.
I wrote a book called Red Fish, Blue Fish, F Fish, U Fish.
Wow.
So it's kind of like, you know, it rhymes. It's like Susian, my fiance, illustrated the book.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's not for kids at all.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, it's very
It's
it's
not.
R rated, if not NC-17. I don't know.
Uh-oh, uh-oh. What was one of the stories? What was one of the stories about?
Oh, it's not. I mean, it's a book, you know. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's like what?
What was it about?
It's like as long as I got this complaint from so my friend. I've showed it to like people who like me, fans of me or whatever, and they liked it. And then they're like, it's a little long. I'm like, Dr. Seuss books are like 60 pages. Like it's meant to be like a book that you read, you know. They're like, oh, I just felt
Yeah.
like I'm like, dude, okay. But it's basically about the political landscape and how the media uh kind of controls people's thought process and how people somehow, even though they just heard it, they really feel like they came up with those ideas themselves. And
Wow.
the end result is kind of just like an ungoverned place that barely works.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, but there's a lot of fish penises and, you know,
Fish penises.
and conscious people fingering each other's buttholes. It's very graphic.
Oh my
My fiance
God.
has a very sick sense of humor, and that's why I love her. But yeah,
Wow. Wow, man. And where's that book still sold?
it's available on Kindle.
It's an ebook. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I sell it physically, but it's like you have to go through me.
Yeah. And do you have any plans to write another book, or is it just
Yeah,
those two?
I wrote another one called Doucherella, but
Oh
I
wow.
and that one has no political agenda at all. it's just
Promising title.
it's just about trashy people finding love. That's what it's about.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
trashy garbage people finding love, and it's also illustrated. Also, gets pornographic in some parts. Also
Oh,
illustrated by my fiance, but the reason it's not done is because she kind of just got a little too ambitious and made it way too much work. So she's like half done with it or something. And
oh, okay.
that's where it's the whole project is stopped. Is halfway done.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Will you guys be done with it soon, or is it just like it's just gonna
Oh, I
be
don't know.
like in the
Well, you're just
balance?
asking if I wrote anything since then, and so that's the thing that I wrote, but it's not done or anything.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you're
I
saying
would assume if Redfish Bluefish somehow got sold, someone bought it concept or got distribution, then she would have the impetus to finish. She's an amazing illustrator and she loves drawing titties. It's like her favorite thing to draw. So
wow.
it's a
Whoa.
I think the book would do great, but I also don't think they could sell it at Barnes and Noble to find another way to market it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That is wow. Doucherella. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Great titles. Huh?
Yeah. It's like the opposite. Like Cinderella, like had like shitty, abusive stepsisters.
Yeah.
Doucherella's like titled bitch, and like her stepmom and stepsisters are just like supportive, great, hardworking people. And she's just like, I hate all of you. You're the worst. Like that. She's that bitch. You know.
Wow, she's that bitch. Oh wow. Oh wow, that's crazy. Wow, that's some deep that's some crazy stuff, man. Wow, that's funny. It'll be I think it'll be really be dark, but it's all right. It might sell well. You never know.
You
You
never
never
know.
know. But you guys, let's get back in the countdown because next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get into your comedy after these three songs. The number 14 song comes from Jimin. The song was called Who. Let's get into it. Jimin with Who, number 14 on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown. Yeah, you guys, we did three in a row for you. We did Jimin, number 14 with Who, number 13 with Luke Combs, Ain't No Love in Oklahoma, and number 12 was Morgan Wallen, Lies, Lies, Lies. Now it's time to get into the comedy of Gino. You sent me your page and stuff like that, but there's one I really was interested in when you did the Hollywood comedy when you did the
Yeah.
comedy in Hollywood. Tell me about that set.
The I sent you one from the Hollywood comedy.
Yes,
I think I sent
I actually I looked on the page
from
and I found it. I looked on the page and I found it. The Hollywood comedy. The
what?
Hollywood comedy. I'm a specific brand of douche.
Oh, specific brand of douche. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's like everybody's a douche. We think of douches as bro douches, just
yeah.
guys who say bro too much and like catcall women. But there's also like hipster douches who like are trying to advertise how respectful they are and carry their water around in a glass bottle, just show everybody better than them. I came up with a phrase just to like end the conversation. They're like, "Why do you carry your water in a glass jug?" I say, "Because my water's better than yours." And the person
Okay, okay.
conversation,
Yeah, that'll end the conversation real quick. Oh
dude.
my God.
But yeah,
Oh,
I'm the douche that voted for Bernie in the last two elections, even though he wasn't even on the ticket.
oh, oh wow. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I'm
and
with
the
it.
punchline
I'm
to
with
that,
it.
it's not because I believe in socialism. It's just because I like to watch people fuck my wife.
Oh, okay.
Because they're right. Because they say liberals are cucks or whatever. So I
Yeah,
just want to watch.
yeah, yeah. Oh wow. You putting it all out there, man. I'm not mad at you, man. Go ahead.
I wouldn't watch. That's weird. That you wouldn't watch.
Some people like that, but hey, it's on them.
Just
Whatever
be
y'all
a
want to
guy
do.
in the. Hey, you're doing a good job. You're like a
Go
cheerleader.
ahead, go
Like,
ahead, go ahead.
no, she doesn't like that. Tell them what you like. Don't be shy.
Oh wow. Wow. It's good. We're going a little bit all the way to the left with that. Let's just play the dang comedy.
Well, that's
This
the
is
if you if you had heard the bit, you would have known the punchline. But
it.
yeah,
Let's get into it.
he asked me about that. He didn't know that punchline.
I didn't. I really didn't. See,
Uh,
I drove myself into I put myself that way. I made myself like go over the cliff with that one. It's all right.
yeah,
It's all right. It's all right.
that was a couple years ago. I try to be more relatable with my comedy now. That one did
Oh,
well. That one did well though at that show. That one did well. But I was like more afraid of like as you do comedy more, you get out into other audiences, and I don't know how you get scared of like these audiences, even just as far out as like Victorville, because they're just really.
oh,
Last time I did a show in Victorville, some guy's like, "You don't have any January 6th jokes, do you?" And I'm like, "I see the flags. I know where I am. Don't worry." He's like, "Okay, well,
yeah.
that guy was there, so just if you
Wow.
like, all right,
Wow. That's some stuff. But you guys, let's
yeah,
get into the comedy of Gino. Let's get into it. The comedy of Gino in Hollywood on Big Old South 20 Countdown. Yeah, you guys, that was Gino, the comedy. Wow, that's some funny stuff, man. I saw a little bit of it before I started, and it was really good, man. I'm not just blowing smoke up your behind. You know what I'm saying?
yeah."
It's really good. I hate when people say, you know what I'm saying. You don't know what the hell they're saying, but
know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying is more punctuation. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's like that's period. That's the end of what I was saying. That was the end of my thought. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's
Like my
real.
buddy said, feel me means now it's your turn to talk. Feel me?
You feel me? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that until now. You're giving me what you call it, grammar lessons. The
I
hood
just
grammar lessons,
bad. Yeah,
the hood grammar, ebonics, grammar and of ebonics. Oh man, um, you've done a lot. What is one thing that you would like to do that you haven't done yet?
I would love to make money. I feel I feel like money is a disease and I'm immune to it, you know?
For real?
Like
Don't feel bad.
I got inoculated as a kid or something. It just finds its way around me. I'm places where money is made and people are doing well and it's just I'm not one of them.
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh wow. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Same things with me. It's all
It,
right. It's all right.
it's a common infirmity, yeah.
Yeah, man, it really is, and especially nowadays. We're not gonna get into that because that's not what this is about. That's not what this is about. Wow. So you know,
Oh, sorry. I thought you were getting back into the countdown. Sorry. I
oh
stayed
no,
quiet for
no,
that.
no,
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 no, no.
no, no. I was talking. Now, what do you talk more, man?
Oh,
Say something else.
say something else.
Say
That's like
something
most of
else.
my time Spanish, and they're like, "Okay, say something." You're like
For
something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
real. um, what else? What else? What else would you want to do? What would you want to do?
What I want to do,
Hmm.
honestly, I love. I'm a creative person, and it's like to a fault. It's like we said earlier on, like I wasn't made for corporate America. Like I tried, and I failed so fast and so miserably. Like I'm just not for that place, you know?
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm with
yeah.
you.
So I would just love to be creative, like as like a lifestyle. I
Yeah.
love I love everything. I love putting together, cinema. I love writing. I love music. I play music at night, like as my like nightly reading. What I would want to do as an ultimate goal. I mean, if you're going there, is I would love to write a musical with existing music, basically, so the onus wouldn't be on me. And I came up with like a rough concept and a treatment. I haven't like written it out, but
Mm.
it's kind of about the end of the world because my shit's heavy.
Mm.
But of course, but it's like there's parables in it. Like there's the guy who likes the girl that doesn't like him back, and in
Mm.
order to get her, he becomes someone who's not himself.
Mm.
And at the
Wow.
same time, so the at the center of the plot, there's just a guy who removes your excuses. It's like, okay, well, you can't do this. I'm going to remove all your excuses. And so there's a guy who wants to go to the center of the world, and the guy's and he'll give you counsel. He's like, that's not something you want to do. And he's like, no, I've always wanted. This is something, and it sounds fantastic to do, but there's lava in the center of the world. You're going to die.
That's
And
true.
as this guy's winning over the woman, so is this guy getting to the center of the world, and he couldn't be happier to be just about to be burned alive.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah. And in the end, kind of like what he does is sort of save these two people who are like in love, and without telling him that, just like, hey, just go up to the country, and just like there's a spot, and the whole world is over, and they just kind of like don't know it. So they're just happy. They don't have to worry about working and taxes and shit like that.
Wow. That's some deep stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's real deep.
But there's
Wow. Well, yeah, it might do well. You never know.
well, I mean, I have to be able to do it first, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you haven't done it yet. You haven't started it yet.
No, I mean, I like, I have to be able to do the things I'm doing before I can do something that big. You're just saying, as a goal, that,
Yeah.
yeah, as a
I
creative.
I definitely understand. I definitely understand. Wow, that's some deep stuff.
But I
Wow.
guess in the meantime, I've been trying to take that advice that people say, don't forget to enjoy it. Don't forget to enjoy the journey. Get to enjoy what you're doing and why you started doing what you're doing. So like I find some truth in that the more you enjoy it, and I feel like that's my strength is I can enjoy things enough to make other people want to do it. So it's a hard thing to remember when you're like hard up for money and this is the reason why you're doing it. But I mean, shooting content for one thing, you're just trying to get an image across that's you. And I think that's just one of the most fun things you can do.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's deep. That's deep. But with that, we're gonna go back in this countdown. Because I gotta ask another question when we come back. The number 11 song comes from Billie Eilish. The song is called Birds of a Feather. Let's get into it. Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish on Big Old Top 20 Countdown. What are you doing? The number
I feel
10
like that
song.
I feel like that's how a Billie Eilish song is gonna sound. I'm gonna be like,
That's a mess.
you said
That's a
Kendrick
mess.
Lamar. All right.
Yeah, yeah, you bob your head to Kendrick. I don't know.
Billie Eilish, like I'm supposed to be like asking for an encore. I got a lighter in my hand.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like,
That's a mess. That's a mess. That's a big old mess. But you guys, that was a number 10 song, Chappelle Rome with Good Luck, Babe. Um, This time I'm getting to the second extra song of the week. Second extra song of the week. I know people say, "Oh, you should play your songs," but fuck it. I'm gonna play my song because it just came out. It just came out today. My EP called Life Music. And this one song is called Guessing Games. Let's get into it. Guessing Games by me on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, that was me.
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
that. Fuck you,
Why
everybody.
would yeah,
Forget who
right?
everybody says. Don't play my song. Forget y'all. This is my countdown. All right. And
Yeah, right. Why
we're
would I
talking
do this? My music out there. Why would I even do this?
for
Why
real.
would I be
That's the thing.
music and does something creative and not put it in my countdown? Damn right, it belongs in the countdown.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's why I do it. That's why I do it. But Gino, you also have a podcast. Am I correct?
Yeah, the last word, WERD.
Tell me about it.
It's very irregular. uh, I do it like I try to stay weekly. I maybe when I'm lucky do it monthly. I try to have interesting guests, and I really my goal when I have guests is to make it as fun as possible for them, and I think I've succeeded in that. And those are like some of the ones with like higher viewership, of course. But it's mainly me just vibing on. I really took the idea from Bill Burr's Monday Morning podcast, and I'm like, that's really cool. That's just like because when I discovered Bill Burr, I
Mhm.
had this catalog of stuff that I could dig through and just be like, hell yeah, that's Bill Burr. That's fucking awesome. And so that's it's kind of like with the future in mind. It's like, okay, well, what are you working on stuff while you're working on stuff? What are you working on while you're working on stuff?
Wow.
So, but so I mean, I don't produce it or anything. It's just me
Oh, you don't?
screaming into my phone like a lunatic. Not screaming, but talking into my phone like a lunatic about
Yeah.
whatever's happening and opinions. I usually try to talk about something I'm watching, because
Okay.
I really movies and stuff and plots and stories. And but recently, so it used to be Anchor, and then
Uh-huh.
Spotify Anchor, and then it was Spotify for podcasters, and now it's just podcasters. And now all of a sudden I can't share audio information from my phone to my phone. So
Wow.
I got to make this giant U-turn and bring it out into an external drive and then feed it back into my phone. And that's why I don't produce shit because it just never get done. And so I think the last
Mm.
I recorded was like well over a month ago and I still haven't posted it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. You should try this thing. You should try this thing called Spreaker.com.
Spreaker?
Spreaker, Speaker. That's where this podcast is
Oh,
coming out
Spreaker.
of.
For some reason I
Spreaker,
thought there
yeah.
was an R in there. Spreaker or something.
Well, it is Spreaker.
I'll check it
Spreaker.
out. For sure. Because I just like
Yeah.
doing. Yeah, yeah. It's just a fun thing, and I find I don't know. I've actually gotten a couple of fans from it, like literally a couple, but like they listen to every single one and they let me know how they felt about the last one, and I'm like, hey man, it all starts with two people tell other people that they like that I should be liked or whatever. I've had a
Yeah.
guy tell me, I love your podcast, your comedy, not at all.
Wow, for real? He
Yeah,
just straight told me that.
but like the when you begin to get fans, the first people who are your fans are insane, and so I had
Yeah.
to block.
You
Oh
had to
shit,
block him?
I
Oh, wow.
low battery right now. I don't know why I
Uh-oh.
didn't coming. I'm gonna
Uh-oh.
try into my car, but like my car doesn't charge very well.
Oh, okay. We're gonna try to make this as speedy as possible. But let's get back into this countdown. The number 9 song comes from Benny Boom. Boom. This song is called Beautiful Things. Let's get into it. Number 9, Benny Boom on Big Old Top 20 Countdown. Yeah, guys, we did 3 in a row. Benny Boom with Beautiful Things. Number 8 was Teddy Swims with Cruise Control. And number 7 was Sabrina Carpenter with Please, Please, Please. That's not a remake of James Brown.
I
Let's
love it.
yeah, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Hey, get on the good foot, brother. I don't want to mess up my voice. Ah, hey,
But brother,
yeah, yeah, brother. That sounds like one thing.
brother,
Hey, brother.
Kendrick,
Hey,
get on the good foot, brother. Yeah.
that don't sound right. Get on the good
Chad-
foot, brother.
I saw the Chadwick Boseman James Brown movie,
Yeah,
and I just love Brown, so maybe that's why I loved it. I thought it was great, and I tried to show it to some friends, and just in the first couple scenes, everyone's like, "Are you showing this to us like really, or do you like this movie?" And I'm like, "Fine, we'll watch something else. Fine, whatever." I thought it was great.
It was a good movie. I love that movie. It's
Yeah, yeah,
one of he did a good job as James Brown, man.
yeah, yeah,
Really
yeah.
brought yeah, really brought it to life. Because I'm a fan of biopics anyway. So
That
and I
too.
can say yeah,
If it's
yeah,
someone
man.
music, yeah, then I want to watch that shit. What was the There's the Motown one that I never saw, but like, yeah, yeah. A lot of good ones have come out. I still haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody, but I saw the Elvis
It's a
one.
good movie. I saw that one. It was a really good movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Bohemian
I saw it on
Rhapsody.
an airplane, one volume,
Me
like
too.
my shit broken or whatever, and still gave
Oh,
me
okay.
chill.
Oh
Still gave
yeah.
me
It
chill.
was it
Volume
was
on
really
one,
good.
one.
You said what?
Well, the volume was on one, like I could barely hear it.
Uh-huh. Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it on the airplane too. I saw it I was like, wow, I liked it. I liked it. But I think one of my favorites is Respect, the Aretha
Oh,
Franklin
respect.
one. Yeah,
That
that
came
was a
out
good
like the
one.
mid.
No, that came out like a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, but like she died, and like immediately they came out with respect, right?
Yeah, 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 like a year later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But the one I'm really looking forward to is Michael.
Oh, they're gonna do a Michael Jackson.
Yeah, yeah, with his nephew, Jafar.
His nephew's name is Jafar.
Yeah, yes.
You know they had to name him after Aladdin came out.
Yes, you know that for a fact. You know that for a fact. Come on now. I was like, what the hell was Jermaine thinking? He probably saw The Lion King and got inspired.
And name him after the bad guy too, right? You're like, come on,
Yeah, come on now. You should name him something else, like Iago or something like this. Or
Iago,
something like Genie.
Genie.
name
Yeah,
his son, name his son Genie that you're gonna be scarring the man for life. You're gonna be scarring that boy for
right after
life.
the king that he pretends to be or whatever.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the damn king, but uh I
We should
forgot. Just,
know it because like there's a whole song about it. But yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alia Babwa.
Ali
Yeah,
Ababa, that's what you should have named him. Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know. It's too
yeah,
late now, but
yeah, yeah.
it's too
Going
late
back
now.
to James
But you know,
Brown, I love what Eddie Murphy said about James Brown. If you, I forget if it was Raw or Delirious, but he's like, whatever. You don't know what the fuck James is saying, but whatever James said was some serious shit to James.
you for real, because he goes like, hey, yeah, huh? I remember. I think that was on Delirious. Yeah, it was on Delirious. I
Yeah, yeah.
remember that. I still remember that. It was one of my favorite. Would you
That
Would you
shit
ever want to do?
that shit aged well. I showed that to my girl over quarantine, and she's like, "Dude, this is amazing." I'm like, "Yeah, this could have come out last year, right? This is fucking great."
Would you ever do a comedy like a film or comedy special or anything like that with just a comedy?
Yeah, I would definitely do that. I was like, "Would you like
Definitely.
to be successful?" Yeah, I'd love to be successful. Would you ever, if someone asked you, I had a friend who was like super talented in music, but he just like, I've had a lot of friends that are super talented in music and just like won't be successful because they're not good at dealing with people, you know. And
Hmm.
one day this guy says, "I hope none of my songs ever get played on K Rock." I'm like, "You never have to worry about that. I'm gonna make you a promise. You don't ever. I don't." And more recently, he's like, I wouldn't mind if a song got played on K Rock. Once again, never gonna be a concern.
That's a mess. That's a big mess.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Speaking of people's songs, we're gonna play another. That's an independent song of the week. That's a perfect segue. You know what I'm saying? This is the independent song of the week. This is also from Life Music, the EP. This is the title track. Let's get into it. The title track, Life Music, the EP, on the Go Stop 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, that was the song Life Music, the Life Music. It's from my new project that came out, Life Music, the EP. We played some of the songs last week. We're also playing the last remaining songs this week. And we're talking to our guest, Gino. Gino, I remember how I met you. Was it over at the what's the dang thing called? Over at Third Wheel. Third Wheel.
Third wheel, probably. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
on Monday.
right
Yeah.
now. That's where I'm in the car outside of third wheel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah. And he was so funny. I was like, you know what? We got to connect on Instagram. And then the next thing I know, I was like, why don't you just come on the show? I think that was a couple of months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. I
yeah,
don't remember.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I haven't been to one since, but I plan on coming back. And I was like, man, I like his brand of humor. It's kind of he's funny. He's real with it. I think what you were talking about farts that day or something like that. I don't remember what the hell you were
Oh,
talking
I don't
about.
know. I think I like everyone has got like some kind of setback, and mine is I have too much material.
Hmm.
So like I'm always trying to work. So I don't remember what I could have been talking about that day. Talking about farts. I don't usually talk about farts.
It was
That
must have been somebody else. Somebody else was talking about farts,
yeah,
and you were talking. I don't know. You were talking about your life. I guess I don't remember. It's been it's been so long gone. I'm getting old, so I can't remember some of
yeah.
it. What'd you say, Sonny? I can't hear you. And you're like, oh gosh, it's
There's also
crazy.
like LA. There's just like so much that goes on too. Like you don't. You're just like I don't know. You kind of in a city like LA. You've been around long enough. You just kind of assume that you know everybody already.
Yeah,
Just try to keep a friendly face. Or someone waves at you, you wave back. All right, we probably met. You know.
probably. You never. Wow,
Yeah.
wow, that's some deep shit. I mean, stuff.
Yeah. I mean stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta stop. I'm working on stop cussing. I'm working on
Yeah.
ceasing my cussing. It was just because I know my pastor's gonna be looking at this like, oh, I can't be cussing.
I've
Like,
heard that was a small child. It was like a problem.
for real.
Yeah, yeah. Like they
You
said,
like,
like,
after you
before I
know
knew like really a whole lot of cuss words, the impression that my parents gave me is like I'd be outside trying to fight the neighbor kids saying "caca poo poo" or some shit like that.
that? For real? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow, that's some crazy stuff, man. Wow, but
that's just like I guess that's where my brain just like genetically goes is to like the dumb bit. I have to like try it. Like I have to try to write clean humor, and so when I
yeah,
get a clean that has no cuss words in it, I really hold on to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you performed some of that? Your non-cussing stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes because like as you go on, you start to know different audiences, so you're like, all right, well this stuff won't work here, so I better like err on the side of just like good, relatable, everyday problem type of stuff, and not leave the fish sticks at home or whatever.
Speaking of that, what was the worst comedy gig that you ever did?
I mean, that's almost like a question like when people ask what's the worst bomb you ever had. Like a bomb is just like quiet, you know, and it's this heavy energy. So it's really just it's a catastrophe that's happening in your head, but it's also the what I call the most forgettable shame.
Mm.
Like it'll stay with you for a little while, but nobody else remembers what happened. They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
worst gig. I'm trying to think of maybe like a horrible. I think probably the worst was maybe over here at Third Wheel because it was like a Midnight Madness and
Hmm.
there was like a legitimate audience. So that's a show when there's like a whole audience, even though we call it a mic, like once there's an audience there, you're trying to do material, trying to put your best out there.
That's
And
right.
that's a real workout. And there are these two women in the middle and they're just like have something to say about everything you have to say. And there's no shutting them up. And you can't punch them
Mm.
in the women. So that's the nightmare right there is like when shit just goes chaotic and there's nothing you can do about it. Just like and then you kind of
Wow.
dig in your brain, you're like, what could I have done differently? And even Skylo's like the protege, because he started young enough and he looks like he could probably get somewhere maybe a little bit faster.
Yeah.
He like came the closest to shutting them up, and they're like, he's like, what are you guys doing here? Like, which
Yeah.
is really the good question. Is like, what are you guys doing here? Like, but you also only have like a few minutes on a thing like Midnight Madness, so you don't want to like divert your set wholly to these two shitty
Mm.
people. But yeah, I would just say that's what a shitty show feels like or looks like.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool. Speaking of shows, do you host a show at the Third Wheel on Fridays? Or is it
yeah.
just you just
I host 10 o'clock on Fridays. Yeah, the
let
premise
me know about yeah.
material. Yeah, and I shout suggestions out from the back, and if they get a little stuck, I try to help them out, and hopefully what I say is funny too. Like the interaction, like makes the audience laugh. It's usually fun. People like it.
Oh, that's cool. So do you book do you book the the comedians yourself or do they have to sign up with you or is it like open mic or what is the
Yeah,
situation
it's fun.
like?
the mic. They just come and sign up, and like so we at Third Wheel, there's sort of a community, and there's people who like come through, and
Hmm.
so like if when there's a good audience there, you're going to start like putting in people who are good,
Hmm.
and so that's what our equivalent of like the paid regulars. So if they're
No,
present, they're up on the list, you're just going to like try to mix them in a little bit earlier because you want everyone to stay interested, but you also want more comedians to come and be able to work it out.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, we're going to talk more to you, Jimmy. The next time we're going to get into your business, but it's time to get back at this countdown. The number 6 song comes from Hosier. This song is called "Too Sweet." Let's get into it. "Too Sweet," Hosier, number 6 on Big O's Top 20 Countdown. The number 5 song was by Sabrina Carpenter. The song was called "Espresso." Oh, I need some of that right now. Um, it's I usually don't do that. But now it's time to get into the old school jam of the week. The old school jam of the week is by a birthday woman. I've been liking her since she first came out in '98. I think she turns 44. She's the same age as me. It's Maya. This is her first single that she ever came out with. It was called "It's All About Me," featuring Cisco. Let's get into it. Maya, "It's All About Me," the old school jam of the week on Big O's Top 20 Countdown. Yeah, you guys, that was Maya with "It's All About Me." And speaking of all about you, we're gonna talk all about you. What's going on with your? I know you're talking about. Shout out your fiance. Shout out your
Oh,
boo thing.
yeah, she's it, man. Yeah. I was lucky to find someone like that. I don't think there's another person on earth for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout her out. Shout her out.
Ray Ray. She's fine. She does comedy sometimes. She's like this naturally hilarious person. And
Oh,
but she's fine just being a funny person in life. She doesn't need to like take it to the world, you know? She's not
yeah.
like me, gotta be my whole ass life. She's like, well, what if I just like make money and like have benefits and stuff like that? I'm like, yeah, that works too. But she hosts the Friday show with me most of the time. Sometimes she'll just
Oh,
be
cool.
her favorite thing is canceling plans. But it's cool. Like I make plans with the thought in my mind that like this might not happen, you know. And so she's not one of those, she doesn't get upset when like I go out and hang out with other people or whatever, or like I'm out late, or as long as I give a call, or I'm going to be like spending the night out. It's more
That's
like
good.
if I haven't been home in a couple days, she's just like, I'm missing you, like
That's good.
yeah.
That's good. You got a prize right there, man. Keep her.
Oh yeah, 100. Yeah.
Um, Usually, I always tell my guests, give me a minute of inspiration, something positive that you want someone to know, or something that you really want somebody to like, who would like to do what you're doing or want to do what you're doing. Just give me a minute of that inspiration. Just give me a minute of inspiration.
Who would want to be doing what I'm doing?
Yeah,
Uh,
or someone who wants to do comedy or something like that. Or
make sure.
books.
I think a lot of people share this exact same sentiment. That is, make sure you're doing it because you love it. And I don't think there's a big miss there. There's probably some people out there who are just like trying to get famous this way or that, and what they're really searching for is to not have a job. Comedy
Hmm.
is a job. It's more of a job than any other job because you got to live it. You got to live the whole thing all day, every day, and so you better be enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, you will hurt yourself.
Hmm.
It can be formulaic, but like at the end of the day, uh, there's no hiding who you are. So you really just got to be you and enjoy being you and bring. The hardest part of comedy, I believe, is bringing you with yourself onto the stage. That's the hardest part.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Wow, that's some deep stuff. That's really, really deep. That's it. You stuck. You know what? You were the only guest that stuck to the minute. Everybody else go to 2 to 3 minutes. You'd be like, oh God, I gotta do some heavy editing. But no, you
Yeah.
stuck to the minute. Happy for you, man. Happy for you, man. We're gonna talk more to you, but we gotta get back in this countdown for the second time. Uh Number 4 song comes from Tommy Richmond. The song is called $1 Million Baby. Let's get into it. $1 Million Baby, number 4 on Big Old Top 20 Countdown. Yeah, you guys, we did a 3 in a row for you. We did Tommy Richmond with $1 Million Baby. Number 3 was Kendrick Lamar with Not Like Us. And number 2 was Post Malone featuring Morgan Wallen with I Had Some Help. Now it's time to get to the number 1 song. The number 1 song comes from Ooh, Shabuzi. I've never heard of this, but this is the first time ever hearing it. Let's get into it. Shabuzi with a bar song, Tipsy. Let's get into it. The number one song on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, that was the number one song. Shabuzi with a bar song, Tipsy. Gino, how can people reach you?
You can look me up on Instagram at bad motherfucker named Gino. Phonetically spelled Modafuka named Gino. Broken Bougie Comedy also on Instagram. Broken Bougie Comedy on TikTok. And just check out some of my shows. I got a monthly residency at Weary Livers, usually the last Saturday of the month. I'm also going to be at a party in the back comedy October 4th. And I feel like I have something coming up this weekend, but it's kind of like not, it's escaping me right now. Anyway.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You can let me know now. I'll broadcast it.
Oh, the platinum package. I'm supposed to. Oh yeah, I'm going to be dropping it in the platinum package at the Pow House this Friday.
Oh, okay. What's the address?
Look up the Pow House. It's kind of a creative collective. It's run by
Oh, okay.
Paulina. She calls herself Pow, and she runs a space for like artists, musicians, and yeah, also comedians. And she does a really good job of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I want to say thank you to my guest, Gino. Also, thank you to all the stations that are carrying us, the Block FM, Kill Radio, Spotify, Apple Music, everyone. And also, thank you to the Podcast Awards. Recently, we won 2 awards. I'm really, really happy about that. And thank you. And thank you to all the listeners. You guys have held me down for the past 9 seasons. And I say thank you for that. I think this is our I don't know. I forgot. I lost count. 300 and something. That's all I know. 300. So I think 320. I think 320th show. And thank
Good
you,
work.
you all for that. Thank
Yeah.
you. And if you all want to reach me, you can reach me at www.linktree.com/OLUSHEYI.banjo. You'll be able to find this podcast, my music, my big old clothing line, which is relaunching very soon, and all the stuff that we have going on. And thought for the week: no matter what, keep your head up and keep smiling. And we always end this with a gospel song. The gospel song comes from Karen Clark Sheard. The song is called Mama Told Me. Let's get into it. Karen Clark Sheard, Mama Told Me. May God bless you. May God keep you until we meet again.